Hey guys, I just wanted to make a quick video about what I'm seeing in the stock market lately because the market environment we have seen for the past, I would say, about 2 months or so, the market dynamics have definitely changed. And if you're someone that is trying to trade the way you were trading, let's say just a couple months ago or leading into June, you will find that the strategies may not be working as effectively as you hope it would work because the market dynamics have really changed. And there are like a couple key macro events that are happening this week, which I feel like could dictate whether this market can continue going higher or we get some sort of a meaningful pullback. So stick around while I explain what I'm seeing in the market. And I definitely feel like there will be some value in it for you to be had. End of March, this market, all it really has done, it just literally just gone up. So if you have traded through all this, the end of March leading into, let's say, the start of June, I mean, making money in the stock market was relatively easier. And I don't like, coining the word like easier, but sometimes it is easy if you have the direction of the market correct. And as long as you're trading with the direction of the market, then yeah, I mean, it definitely gets easier to trade, especially if you're trading the right names. And lately what you would see is as soon as we came to June, the type of price action we're seeing is there's a lot of nervousness in the stock market lately. And that nervousness is causing some indecision in the stock market where the direction of the market is not clear anymore. There's a lot of choppy price action that's been happening. It's a lot of up and down. And really, the market is trying to position itself for two key events happening this week. At least from what I see, that's how the market is behaving. So one of the key events is on Micron. Like Micron reports its earning on Wednesday. And I'll get into the details why these events matter so much. So the number one event is the Micron earnings, which is coming out on Wednesday. And the second one is the inflation numbers that are coming out on Thursday. So literally on these 2 days, Wednesday and Thursday, these 2 days are going to decide what happens next in the stock market. Do we continue going higher or are we gonna pull back? That is the question. And I don't know which way the market is gonna go. Nobody knows. And if someone says they know, I think they're full of it. Nobody knows what market is gonna do. We can really just look at the footprints of what's been happening. We can look at the macro numbers and understand the macro economy, see what's happening that dictates which way the market goes. And all this rally that you saw, like this is triple Qs, like this rally was a big contribution towards behind that rally was the Fed talking about cutting interest rates, or at least holding the interest rate steady. So there was a lot of chatter behind the move about interest rates. And just last week, I think the Feds have made it clear that, hey, you know what? Forget about rate cuts. No more rate cuts this year. We may be looking at increasing the interest rates. And if that happens, that is not a good environment for the stock market to continue going higher. Because if borrowing gets expensive, then all these like high flying stocks, like, I'm sure you probably know about all these like Mag 7 names. And in the past, when the interest rates are lower, man, they move, they go higher and they move fast. And you can make a lot of money through those moves. But if the interest rates are going to go higher, and I think the writing is a little bit on the wall, and obviously the inflation, like with the oil prices and all that obviously didn't help the inflation either. So I think the writing is on the wall that we may be heading towards rate hikes. And if rate hikes is what's going to happen, then we may see stocks pull back. And if you look at some of the stocks, like especially from Mag 7, they have been pulling back. And they have been pulling back to some of the levels where, if you are in swing trader or an active investor, I mean, those are becoming a good short-term plays to profit from. And except for like the AI names, they have literally just gone up. But the AI narrative, with all the names that have been really strong in the past, I think one event like the Micron, I said, is going to dictate what happens going forward. Because if you look at triple Qs, as I'm showing you right now, I mean, for the past 2 weeks, this is what the triple Qs have done, right? So this is this is last week. So it opened fine, sold off, and closed up here. So it literally just had a V-shaped recovery last week. And even prior to the last week, it did the exact same thing. It opened here, sold off, and recovered. So 2 weeks in a row, we've had V-shaped recoveries on triple Qs. Now, the start of this week, Monday, new week, so this is the third week, has also started a little bit choppy. So does this mean that we sell off and get another V-shaped recovery? I'm not sure if that's what's going to happen, or are we going to get even further pullback than what we're seeing? I think what happens with triple Qs or SPY, a lot of that is going to depend on the inflation numbers that are coming out on Thursday. Because if it comes out hotter than expected, yes, I think there's a high probability we get a deeper pullback. And the environment we're in right now, like most of the names which are trading under Qs and SPY, have been pulling back. It's almost like the market is giving signals that something is not right. So it has been pulling back, right? So if I give you an example, let's start with Microsoft. Look what Microsoft has been doing, right? Microsoft has literally been just forming lower highs. This is quite a significant pullback on Microsoft. In fact, it's a great opportunity to load up on some of the Microsoft shares. It's definitely going on at a discount right now. Look at Amazon, right? It has been forming lower highs. You look at Meta, right? It has been forming lower highs. You look at Palantir. Look at this, lower highs. So all of these names have been forming lower highs. You look at Tesla. Same thing, lower highs, right? So there's obviously something going on for all of these names to be creating all these lower highs. But if you look at the semiconductor names, for example, I'll start with MU. Look what MU is doing. It's forming higher highs. It's just ripping. You look at SanDisk, higher highs. You look at Intel, higher highs. You look at AMD, higher highs. You look at Marvel, right? Higher highs. You get the picture. You look at the SMH index, higher highs. So it's kind of interesting because you look at semiconductors, you look at AI scene, they are forming higher highs, they're going higher. But when you look at triple Qs, a lot of indecision, a lot of sideways price action. You look at SPY. In fact, SPY is forming lower highs on daily chart, right? SPY is forming lower highs on daily chart. Right now, SPY is looking relatively weak. So there's obviously something going on for all these Mag 7 names or even some of the other names to be pulling back so much. Let's take a look at Apple, right? I think Apple may be setting up for also lower highs. So you look at all these names and it's kind of interesting that they're all pulling back, but the AI names are just ripping. But AI names can only rip for so long when the whole macro is starting to weaken up, starting to give us those pullbacks. You know, those AI names, like how long will they just keep going higher? Of course, it can just keep going higher, but I think this is where the Micron earnings is going to be the absolutely critical point of what happens going forward. Everyone is thinking Micron is going to come out with some good earnings. They're gonna beat on expectations and all that kind of stuff. And personally, I think there is a high probability, yes, they will come out with good earnings. They will beat expectations. Yeah, I mean, there is that probability. But just understand that good enough earning is already priced in. Like, market is already expecting Micron to have good earnings. In fact, market is pricing in great earnings. So technically, Micron can have a blowout earning and it could still sell off. Last time when Micron announced its earning, here, I'll show you. This is the day Micron had its last earnings, last quarter. And look what happened. Everyone was expecting Micron to come out with some good numbers. They did come out with good numbers, but it wasn't a blowout earning. Like, the market was pricing in so much that good enough was also not good enough for the market. And what did the market do? It sold off. Micron sold off. Look, boom, it sold off. And of course it recovered, but this recovery was part of the reason behind that recovery was the markets as well. You look at triple Qs, it was ripping. You look at SPY, it was ripping. The environment was such that it made sense for these names like Micron and all to also rip, because obviously these names are going to follow the market, and market is what moves everything. So it kind of made sense. So now the environment is different. Now we're no longer in just a straight move like this. What are we doing for the past 3 weeks in the stock market? What's happening? Stock market for the past 3 weeks, this is indecision. This is sideways price action. This is something people are afraid that is the top end for the time being. People are just afraid. And you can see it in the charts. So that's why Micron's earning is going to be absolutely critical. Does this market, the buyers, the dip buyers, are they going to keep stepping in? Are we going to see another V-shape recovery? Then we see the price going higher. If that happens, then of course the earning has to be an exceptional earning that it lifts the entire scene up. But you cannot still, leave out with what's happening with Meg 7. They're still all selling off. So Micron earning by itself, you think that it can lift everything with it? I don't know. I don't think that can happen. But it can definitely lift some AI names with it. And that's why, I'm watching Wednesday very, very closely. I think what will lift the market is what Fed have the inflation numbers that are coming out on Thursday. I think that will have a major impact on SPY and Qs on what comes out on Thursday. So that's why these 2 days are going to be absolutely critical for the stock market heading into some sort of direction, whether we get pullback, whether we continue going higher. That direction at this point of time is not clear. And if you're an active trader or you're a swing trader, or just try not to get chopped around in what's happening in the stock market right now. Because the last thing you want to do is trade in the environment you hope you want to trade in. That's just the wrong way to trade. You have to be respectful to the environment the market is giving you, right? The market is telling you it's fearful, right? If you look at the VIX index, it will show you that the fear is creeping in. So market is fearful, and interest rates have a big say in what happens, but the fear is there. So if you're an active trader, then your job is to understand the pulse of the market, and the pulse of the market is telling you there's some nervousness. And it'll be interesting to see what happens on Wednesday and Thursday. Do we get a clear direction? That will be a most important thing to watch out for. And until that happens, just make sure you protect your account. Don't get chopped around, because the market could do a lot of up and down price action to chop you around. So just be careful. Wait for some sort of direction. Let's wait for Wednesday and Thursday, see what sort of information we can get, and then we can trade accordingly. So I hope you found this information insightful. If you did, please consider subscribing. I do plan on making more videos like these, and I'll hope to see you in the next one. Take care for now. Bye.